Hi, my name is Pink and I'm CEO of the Las Vegas Real Estate Network. And today we're going to be talking about credit repair. So I've invited Mark Coates.
Hi, Pink, how are you?
He's with the National Credit Federation. That company has been featured in USA Today as well as many other publications. So that's why we invited Mark. Could you tell us a little bit kind of what your company does?
Sure. National Credit Federation is a attorney-facilitated credit repair organization that specializes in forcing the permanent removal of derogatory and negative information that's on somebody's credit report. And we do it from a legal standpoint. We use attorneys in all 50 states, so it works out very, very well.
And what is credit repair?
Credit repair is nothing more than really taking and challenging information that's on a credit report. When a consumer sees their credit report, I mean, the bureaus have the right to put anything that's submitted to them on your credit report. Versus whether it's right or it's wrong, it doesn't matter. I mean, the government, in what's called a PIRG report, actually studied in the credit bureaus and found that there's 80%, actually 77% of credit reports have wrong information on them.
I've looked at mine, when I get the free credit report, and I've noticed some things. I said, what is that doing on my credit report?
Yeah, like I said, consumers don't understand that the credit bureaus can put anything and everything on an actual credit report. So credit repair is doing nothing more than challenging the credit bureaus from a legal standpoint with us and forcing them to provide documentation back to our company to prove that that information is legitimate. And if they can't produce that document, then they have to delete it from your credit report.
So that's why having lawyers is really important.
It's dramatically the big difference maker because we use it. We use the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and there's 6 other different laws and consumer protection rights that we use to protect the consumer and challenge that information that's on a credit report.
So how does credit repair differ from credit monitoring? Like the guys are playing in the bands and that thing?
Absolutely. No, credit monitoring is nothing more than, for instance, myfreecreditreport.com. You pay a $19 a month service fee to that. What ends up happening, you're just checking on your bad score all the time. It's not fixing your credit.
So it doesn't change your score?
It doesn't change it, doesn't fix it, doesn't do anything. So credit repair is actually, like I said, challenging the negative and derogatory information that's on a credit score or on your credit report and forcing the permanent removal of that information from your report to allow your score to increase.
Let's talk about some of the negative things. How does a late payment affect your credit score?
It's a great question. Negative or pay history is that credit scores are broken down in 4 or 5 different categories, and pay history is the largest category that affects your score. It's 35% of your overall score.
That's more than a third.
Yeah, so you take somebody, for instance, I've seen somebody have a 720 FICO score and make one 30-day late payment and it drops them down to 620. It can affect you. Absolutely, it can affect you 100 points just from making a 30-day late. Right? And the reason why is, like I said, it's a 35% overall of your total score. Now, a couple of the other factors that are in there, the next biggest one is probably the debt ratio to credit limit. So if you have, and this is very important for the consumer to understand, if you have a credit card with, let's say, a $10,000 credit limit on it, you always want to keep your balance at around $3,000, which is 30% of the overall credit limit.
So you don't want to go over.
You can go over, but when you know you're ready to check your credit or run your credit to buy a major purchase, keep that balance at 30% or less. Because if you do that, you're going to get the ultimate score utilization.
So score is like a picture at any time.
Absolutely. A score, that's a great way to think about a credit report. It's nothing more than a photograph. And what I mean by that is if you left right now and put on a brown wig and a pink shirt and different colors, come back, it would be a whole new photograph. Same way with your credit report. If you go in and clean up 10 negative items out of the 15 you had on there, it's going to dramatically affect your score because that information is not being fed into the model. And that's really the way credit repair is supposed to be done, fixing the negative and derogatory information to allow your score to increase and not be a dead weight holding your score down.
Well, we focused a lot of our videos on short sales. So what is the impact of a short sale on your credit?
Well, a short sale and a foreclosure kind of work the same, but what you got to remember about a short sale is typically it won't be as big of an impact on a credit score, just simply because when a client's going through a short sale, usually the bank's focused on getting it done. So again, it comes back to the pay history side of it. Again, to where, let's say they maybe only have 30 or 60 or 90-day late payment, and the short sale gets done, it's not going to affect it. Versus a foreclosure, when somebody goes through a foreclosure, typically I've seen people in houses for up to 2 years.
So that's 2 years of no payments.
Of late payments, and you go from 30 to 60 to 90 to 180, and it just keeps compounding.
So if someone's not paying for 2 years, I mean, and they're getting free rent, which is good, but how much would that impact their credit score?
I've seen it go all the way down. Somebody had a 680 down to 400s. I mean, it can be really bad because you got the consistent stacking of 90 or 120-day lates on top of each other. And you got to remember, the brain to a credit scoring model is put together so a lender can see if that person has a responsibility to pay back debt.
So hanging out in your house for 2 years and not making payments,
you're not real responsible.
No, I guess not. So if you're a short sale, you've actually negotiated with the bank and worked with the bank in order to get to somewhere, both of you are pretty much taking a hit. That's why they call it a short sale.
Exactly.
But at least it's something that you negotiated with them, as opposed to just saying, come get me.
Yeah, and it's by far the best way to do it in terms of impact on your credit report, because like I said, it's going to affect it, but not as bad as the lumping of the payments being late and then the foreclosure being a public record also for another, public record's there forever. I mean, so that's going to be there as long as you're alive, and then you're going to have the 3-year stip on a foreclosure before you can buy again, which a lot of times on a short sale is only a couple of years, and if you don't have a notice of default, it can even be quicker than that.
So is a short sale a public record?
The short sale is not, but if you go through if they issue a notice of default by being late over 90 days, then that becomes public record, and the lender's going to know that that you had a short sale.
Well, this has been really great information. Thank you so much for coming to the Las Vegas Real Estate Network. Will you come again? Because I think I'd love to pick your brain some more.
I'd love to help out any way I can.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much.
Nice being here.
And thank you all for watching. This has been a wonderful discussion of credit repair, and I hope it's been useful to you for helping you make your decisions on real estate. Bye-bye.